Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Rogie and this is Onyx Raven on paper, and this video is Map My TBR. Excuse me. Is there any treats in here? I was promised treats for doing this. No, just paper in there. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Okay, bye. As my darling girl just said, welcome. Didn't she do so good? She's the bestest girl. She got some treats for that. Here we are again. Be sure to utilise the chapters. I will chapter it. So if you want to just get straight into the game, you are absolutely welcome to do that. I just wanted to say to my subscribers and anyone that enjoyed the last 2 episodes of Map My TBR, I'm sincerely sorry for the extreme lack of April. I did film it, however, I am using a new camera and it stopped recording. Had it stopped recording during these bits, it would have been fine because I could have just re-recorded them. It stopped recording during the reaction shots for the dice rolls. So I didn't have any of my reactions, and I was still thinking about filming some filler clips of me just like moving the raven and stuff. But time just got the better of me. I was working a lot because I was running up to some time off and it just wasn't feasible. So I'm really sorry about that. I did film it. It just was a disaster. As a result, I didn't read anything either. Like I said, I was working a lot, and just because of the disaster of the video, I just think I lost all motivation for reading. And March was a pretty bad month as well. I got halfway through 2 books, Only a Monster and The Nature of Witches. Was enjoying them perfectly fine. I didn't DNF them because they were unenjoyable. I don't know what to say. They just got put down. So I still have them to finish as well, but we're thoroughly enjoying them. I'm not gonna force myself to read any particular books or participate in any readathons this month just because I've had a slumpy couple of months. So we're gonna start fresh and new in May. Very spring-like, I know. And just have fun with the game and just start over. If you're unfamiliar with my TBR game, I have a few kind of things within the game that make things a bit harder, but I don't punish myself for not completing TBRs because the whole point of this for me is to make reading a bit more fun and have a cool and fun way of choosing what books to read out of my owned TBR, if possible. So we don't punish ourselves around here. Just a couple of updates. I have added lifeboats into, I think there's 7 lifeboats into the water. I felt like we were landing in the water too much. I was getting too many additional books onto the TBR, which meant if you watched February and March, you'll know I had stacks of like 10 and 11. It's just completely unrealistic for me. So no wonder I ended up in a slump for the last 2 months. So I've been tweaking the game each month to try and balance it out a little bit. So I've added lifeboats, and what that means is if I land in one of those, it saves me from landing in the water. I will still have to re-roll to get a book or a prompt, but I do not have to add an extra book to my TBR, so an extra roll. That's what they're for. I've also upped the rest of the pins as well because I didn't feel like we were landing on some of them. And, you know, that's the whole point of them, to kind of make the game more fun. So there are 7 lifeboats. There are 10 each of the other pins. And the tents, which are Booktubers, and the character ones, which are the dogs and my husband and my sister, they together make up 10. So I've populated the board a lot more as well to try and balance the game. Spoiler alert, it worked really well. So here's to hopefully a glorious month of reading. And as always, past Ash will be doing the rolls, and then we'll come back here to discuss what came out of the rolls and what books we're reading. So stay tuned. Okie dokie. Let's hope that everything is recording as it should be. And starting with 5 rolls as usual, let's go. So that's 6 and 4. So 6 down, 4 across. Land. That's normal crops. It was not easy to get that. There we go. Okay, here we go. Fave trope. Fave trope. What a way to start. I mean, we love that for me. There was going to be something else. Spoiler alert. There was going to be something else in this, but it ended up fulfilling a different prompt and was the only one that I had in my owned TBR that fulfilled that prompt. So there's a little bit of a clue for a future role for you. So fave trope is always a tricky one for me because I just feel like I've not necessarily read enough to really establish what my favourite tropes are. So I kind of approach this from what are my favourite tropes in general, so not just in books but in TV shows and movies. And one of those is most definitely secret societies. So with that in mind, The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, it also is as a dark academia, I believe. 6 are chosen, only 5 will walk away. So 6 magicians, 5 chances to win, 1 secret society. So I think these 6 magicians go into some sort of trials to become part of the Alexandrian society, and I think, yeah, they've got to survive the next year of their lives, so I assume there's going to be trials and stuff like that, and one of them isn't going to come out alive, so sucks to be them, I guess. This is the beautiful, fairly adult box edition. This was the first book that came in their new subscription. Not sponsored, why would they? I've purchased this with my own money. But it's a beautiful edition. Yes, I believe the next one is out at some point this year, I want to say. So I really need to get on reading it. Okay, Fave Trope. Good start. Good start. Have a bit of a think about that. Roll 2, 3, and Luke's coffee! This is the first time we've got this. Opening the markers is definitely working, so we have a Luke's coffee. I'm actually really scared. So just a reminder, this is the Rory Gilmore reading challenge. So I could literally get anything. So there's about half the list in here, about 200. We're allowed 40 vetoes because it's 400, so it's 10%. So I can reject whatever I pick out. I'm very scared. This is the one. Okay. The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. Don't know if you can see that or not. Okay. What is that? So we finally landed on Luke's coffee, which means I get to pick a book finally from the Rory Gilmore reading challenge from this tin right here. And as you have just seen, that was The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon, I want to say. I have not heard of this particular author. I did have a quick look what the book was. I didn't read too much into it because, you know, spoilers. But it seems to be about two boys that are very into comic books. Which is a cool concept. And it seems to have a blend of Jewish folklore and American history from what I've seen. Apparently there is some graphic content as well, so we'll see how that goes. It is available on Scribd, both as audiobook and as an ebook, so I think I'm going to utilise that instead of, you know, adding to this. So I'm really interested. It's an author I've never even heard of before and mind read, so I'm interested to see how it goes. It's a big old book though. It's over 600 pages, so we'll see. But yeah. Okay, roll number 3. This is going well so far. No water yet. Okay, so that's 10 and 4. Okay, 6 rolls we're on, so we're re-rolling roll number 3. So that's 3 and 7. Are you joking me? We're up to 7 rolls. April was so good. I wish you'd have seen it. Re-rolling roll number 3. 8 and 11. Okay, good. Prompt. This one, it's been kind of kind on the prompt side of things, so Goodreads Choice Award winner. Then we got Goodreads Choice Award winner. So basically any book that has won a Goodreads Choice Award. I went for the last one, so last year, Goodreads Choice Award 2021. I went through all the categories because I really wanted, if possible, to choose one that I already owned. There was one that fulfilled that. If it hadn't, I would have considered going to the year before and so on. But I had one, and it's about time that I read this. I think this went on my October TBR from last year, and it won the Goodreads Choice Award for Horror, and that is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. One of two books appears that I have on my shelf. I haven't read either of them. I'm pretty sure Horror Store is in fact in my landmine books because it kind of intimidates me, just because, for two reasons. Grady Hendrix is an author that I feel like I'm really gonna like, and I've kind of overwhelmed myself to the point where I don't want to read them in case I'm disappointed. But also, when it comes to Horror Store, I have heard that is actually quite scary, and it's it's a haunted house vibe one, where anything to do with like possessions or paranormal stuff, like even in like films, I struggle with those a little bit. So I'm kind of scared of reading it. So it is time. We're gonna do it. The Final Girl Support Group. It is actually Friday the 13th this month. Maybe. Final Girl, of course, is a very popular trope. Yes, this was the one that was earmarked for fave trope until I realised it was really my only option for this one. Because, Final Girl, it's a good trope. It actually gives a definition of the book. Final Girl, the last and sole survivor of a horror movie. In horror movies, the final girl is the one who's left standing when the credits roll, the one who fought back, defeated the killer, and avenged her friends, the one who emerges bloodied but victorious. But after the sirens fade and the audience moves on, what happens to her? And this is about a final girl support group. For more than a decade, she's been meeting with 5 other final girls and their therapist in a support group for those who survived the unthinkable, putting their lives back together piece by piece. Because, it's a situation that nearly no one experiences, right? It's quite rare. So that's what fascinates me about this concept, because who would you talk to after you went through something like that? Because that is definitely not something that the everyday person goes through, right? It's just not. So that's what intrigues me about this. And basically one of the girls goes missing. So basically one of the women goes missing. Someone knows about the group and is determined to take their lives apart again piece by piece. So basically it seems like they've already each survived their own massacre. Like individually, they weren't part of the same one. They've each survived a massacre, right? And then someone is coming to pick them off one by one, as if they haven't been through enough. So yeah, really excited about this one. I've heard mixed reviews, because I think for some people there wasn't enough horror. That's kind of okay with me, so I feel like I might enjoy it if it's more on the thriller side than being really horrific. But we shall see. We shall find out. I think it's a little bit mixed media-y as well. Yes, it is. There's pages a bit like that in it, so looking forward to that. Rambled on for too long about that. Roll 4 of 7 now. 3 and 8. Okay, come on. We're doing so good. We're doing so good. These have had a good mix round. And there's some in the jar, so hopefully there's 2 there. We just... Okay. This is the one. Make sure we focus. Adaptation. That's a wonderful one. I mean, we couldn't have looked out much more with this prompt. Adaptation. Amazing. It's funny because I was putting all the prompts in a new jar the other day, and I came across this. I didn't cheat, it got mixed in. I was just looking at my shelf at what I've got, and I was thinking to myself, quite a lot of these are adaptations or are gonna be adaptations. So I had plenty to choose from, but I went with one that I've been trying to read for a couple of months now, and I've got no excuse because there's an amazing audiobook, and that is The Hobbit. And I've got these beautiful editions because I really want to get through The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings before the new TV show comes in. I want to say it's September, it's August or September. But anyway, so I've still got time, May, June, July. Yeah, I've still got time to get through them. I'm cutting it a bit fine now. But I think maybe we need to do like a 24-hour readathon again. I've not done one of those for a while, so let me know if you like that idea. My husband is going on a couple of trips over the next few months, so I probably have got good availability to try to get a 24-hour readathon. So if you fancy that, let me know. But yeah, I don't think I need to tell anyone what this is about. There's 3 movies for this one book. So roll 5 of 7. 9 and 10. Okay, 9's on this side yet. And oh, dun dun dun! Oh no! First time I've got one of these as well, so this has definitely worked. Increasing the pins. I've landed on a landmine. Oh my god. So I've got a separate jar for landmine books, which is basically books that intimidate me for one reason or another. And here it is. Ah. Here we go. Please don't be it. Please don't be it. Please don't be it. What is it going to be? Please don't be it. Please do not be it by Stephen King. His Dark Materials. Okay. We got a landmine book for the first time. Increasing the pins has worked. And I was so dreading it because there were some monsters in there, let me tell you. But we pulled His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman, and what I'm probably going to do is just read the first book, which is Northern Lights. Because as I've explained before, the books in that jar, it's not necessarily to do with length, the reason that they're in there. They are just books that intimidate me in some way or another, and this intimidates me because it's quite a beloved beloved fantasy trilogy that I didn't read as a kid. I know a lot of people seem to read this when they're in their teens, I think, or first discovered it when they were in their teens. So it's quite beloved as far as I know. So that intimidates me somewhat. I have marked it already as to where the first book stops, which is here. So that is like 340-ish pages, but the text is quite small. I don't know an extensive amount about this either. I know it's a polar fantasy. Science, theology and magic are entwined. Oh, it's a search for a kidnapped friend and a sinister plot involving stolen children, which turns into a quest to understand a mysterious phenomenon called dust. Well, that sounds quite interesting. A richly detailed and marvelously imagined world that is complex and thought-provoking enough to enthrall readers of all ages. Cool. So, Philip, it's time. Okay, that was okay. That was okay. That could have been so much worse. So on 6 of 7, we've had 2 books actually just chosen for us. So it's the first time that's happened. So roll 6 of 7. So 1 and 9. Ooh, Gabby reads. So we got Gabby reads, so over to Future Ash to see what Gabby's been recommending recently. I know Gabby recently did Summerween with Olivia, so I'm anticipating some creepy books on the recommendations. On to the final one, and that is we've got Booktuber, Gabby reads. So I've had a quick look at her last video, and there wasn't a single book in that thumbnail that I own, so that's fun. Okay, so I spent a little bit of time having a look into a couple of the books that I know are in her video, and I didn't look them all up because it would have taken me ages, but 2 I can definitely get on my Kindle, and those are One of Us is Dead by Geneva Rose and Crying in H Mart. So let's have a look what Gabby says.
Welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby, and today I'm going to be doing my April wrap-up.
Awesome. So
this is a book that really hit me hard this month, because if you didn't know, this is kind of, it's a memoir, so it's a true story about this woman, Michelle, and how she got a phone call that her mother was sick and that she had cancer, and she had to fly back home to Eugene, Oregon to go and spend some time with her. And it's kind of like this memoir is, the story of like her and her mom and like their relationship, and how their relationship was sometimes complicated. And this book also talks about, Michelle's Korean identity and how she always felt so seen by her mom, because her mom was really the only like Korean adult figure that she had in her life, because her dad was white. And God, this book was just beautiful. Like, as someone who's like super close to my mom, this was a tough book to read, because I cannot even imagine. Just so many beautiful quotes and so many beautiful moments that I saved from this.
Wow, okay. So that is quite high praise from Gabby there for that one. Oh, as it turns out, they're next to each other. Let's have a look.
Is Dead by Geneva Rose, and the author was so kind enough to send me a copy of this book. This is a thriller that I was very excited, very hyped to read, because I saw a lot of people comparing this to like The Hunting Wives or like Big Little Lies, where we're following a group of kind of like suburban wives, and there's lots of like drama and gossip, and there's murder, because very much like Big Little Lies, this book opens with a scene where one of the main characters is being interviewed by a detective, and she's like, yeah, you could have asked anyone, like, we all knew it was eventually going to lead to murder, and it's like all mysterious because you're like, okay, clearly somebody was murdered, but you don't know who was murdered, and you don't know who's responsible. And so then we get flashbacks of like this group of women and how, like, what led up to the murder. You know, the thing that sucks is that this book, it had all of the potential, it had all of the ingredients to be a new favorite, but oh my god, this book was so frustrating to read. Unfortunately,
Okay, I like the premise of that one because it sounds like just a kind of fun, sounds weird saying fun, it's a book about murder, but you know what I mean, like kind of a fun, fast-paced thriller, like a whodunit, multiple suspects type of thing. Oh, I better stop screen recording. So that one does interest me, but given that we've got Final Girl support group already, and if I was going to base it on the reaction that Gabby gave to those two, I think I'm going to go for Crying in HMAP, because I obviously haven't got a memoir on here. I haven't even got any literary fiction or anything of that kind of nature. And although some of it might be a little bit hard hitting, I feel like a memoir will be quite a good one to have on my Kindle, because I tend to have my Kindle by my bed. So yeah, I think we're going to go for Crying in HMAP. Please be the last roll. Please be the last roll. 7 and 13. So 7 down this side. Yeah. I thought we were going to get a prize then. Okay, we're ending on land, so normal prompt jar. Very good. Okay. Come on. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. What's it gonna be? Birthday month release. Okay, so we got birthday month release, which is one of those just fun random prompts that are in the jar, and basically that just means any book that's ever been released in my birthday month, which is September. So I just did a little Google. I started in 2021 and kind of went back, and I was trying to put something in that I've already got, and I got to 2020 and discovered that this in fact is a September 2020 release. I did start reading this in January, but it was one of the last books I started reading in January, and then I'd created the game and filmed my first Map My TBR, so it just kind of got put down because I was in a new month. I was really enjoying it. I didn't get that far in, so I definitely want to give it another go because I've heard amazing things about this, and it is a thriller set in Brooklyn. It involves the topic of gentrification, and in this case there is a deeper conspiracy. Where do people go when gentrification pushes them out? Can Sydney and Theo trust each other or themselves long enough to find out before they too disappear? So there's some wider, deeper conspiracy going on, and are these people really moving out of the neighbourhood to, greener pastures, or is something sinister happening to them. I was really enjoying it. I was literally just in the very beginning, where there was mention of people moving, and you're getting to know the principal character, which is Sydney, and her relationship with her beloved neighbours. So you're meeting quite a few of the neighbours, and because I kind of knew where the story was going with regards to the conspiracy surrounding gentrification, I was like, are we going to lose some of these characters? But yeah, sounds really interesting. Heard amazing things about it, and I love a good, intense psychological thriller. So this is what we're looking like. We obviously do not have two of the books here physically, which is, I keep forgetting the name of it, The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, and of course Crying in H Mart. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 books. It's not too bad. Considering I'll probably do most of this at least reading along with audio. And The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay might end up being an audiobook one as well, because it's a long one. Maybe I'll have that as like my while working audiobook, something like that. So it's quite a dark, for the most part. Oh, I said I didn't have any literary fiction. I don't know if The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay is that. I'm not sure. So we've got a thriller, a horror, dark academia, technically adult fantasy, but a dark academia, 2 fantasy novels here as well. We have a memoir and The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, which I have no idea what that is. Maybe literary contemporary fiction. So a pretty good mix, and some that I feel like are going to get me out of a slump, like this sort of secret society, dark academia, potentially a couple of fast-paced thriller horrors, a story I already know. So yeah, let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought, spoiler free of course. And yeah, looking forward to actually getting some reading done. Let me know also about whether you would like a 24-hour readathon, if I can fit one in this month. And as always, let me know any book recommendations, prompt recommendations, and Booktuber recommendations if you would like them to be added into the game, because I do have viewer recommendations for books. So if you've got a book recommendation, let me know. And my time is going off, so let's end this video. As my darling girl said at the beginning, make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you did enjoy the video. And I will see you sometime soon for another video, but definitely next month for a Map My TBR episode. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time you're watching this, and I will see you soon. Bye!